My name is Marie-Louise Crawley. I'm a research assistant here at the Centre for Dance Research at Coventry University. I recently started working within the CEF research community as a staff member following my PhD study over the last 3 years here. And my PhD looked at dance and the museum, but particularly dance and the Archaeological Museum, and it was entitled What Remains Dancing in the Archaeological Museum. So it was a practice as research project that where as part of the PhD, I made a durational performance for the Ashmolean Museum of Art and Archaeology in Oxford, and that piece existed in the museum for 2 weeks. The opening hours of the museum every day, 10 till 5. And that piece was called Likely Terpsichore Fragments. My background originally is as a classicist, studying ancient Latin and Greek culture, Roman and Greek culture. And after many years performing professionally, first as an actress, then as a dancer and choreographer, with my PhD, I turned back to the classic study because the dance practice in the museum that I do takes as its the foundational principles of the dance, takes certain principles from a reimagining, if you like, of an ancient Roman theatre, dance theatre pantomime form that I reimagine in the context of the museum to create a 21st century performance that's really looking at how dance might enter the art historical archaeological collection, how dance can coexist alongside other ancient artifacts, and how a reimagining of ancient dance can coexist in that space, and how by dance being live dance, or particularly the live female dancer being present in the museum, it can start to uncover previously hidden histories, female histories from ancient culture, and bring those to the surface alongside the other artifacts. So following the PhD, currently I'm working on the European-funded CultureMoves Project here at CEF, which is an 18-month project that really is seeking to look at and uncover and explore the interactions between dance, tourism, site, cultural heritage and digital technologies. And as well as CEF and Coventry University, we're working with 3 partners across Europe, in Germany, FST, the Fondazione Sistema Toscana in Italy, and University Nova in Lisbon. We're working really, as part of this CultureMoves project, we're really exploring, looking at again the relationship between dance and cultural heritage site in particular, but also what new relationships digital technology can bring to understanding that relationship between dance, site and cultural heritage. As part of the CultureMoves project, we're developing the MOOC, the massive online open online course. And for this, we're currently looking at 4 different modules. And the MOOC is designed really to enable learners to reuse Europeana content, which is the Europeana, the online platform for digital cultural heritage content, and how learners can reuse Europeana content and particularly dance content to build their own stories, curate their own mini stories, and to also help them support their engagement with dance in different settings, non-conventional spaces, historical landmarks, and how they might create dance performances for heritage sites and those non-conventional spaces. So dance really outside of the theatre, and dance in the city, dance in the urban landscape, dance in those cultural heritage settings. So the 4 modules that we're looking at, the first one introduces learners to online annotation and how you can search for content online on a platform such as Europeana, how culture can be documented, preserved and annotated digitally through those digital technologies. The second module then introduces learners to different ways of exploring dance and sight practice, using a range of case studies of dancers and choreographers who have various different methods of working in site-specific, site-based insight dance practice. The third module then looks specifically, we've called it IM/material cultural heritage, that looks at how dance can coexist alongside, as an immaterial heritage can coexist alongside material heritage, particularly in museums. So that's where my own specialism and my own practice of dance in the museum, particularly with a focus on dance in the archaeological museum or the history museum, comes in. And we're really looking there as well about how dance in those collections exists, how dance might become part of the collection as much as an artefact is. We also start to consider artefacts within dance as well, so costume, looking at costume, and also looking at mask, and my own practice in the museum uses mask as part of my practice, so that really explores why are those practices using masks, how does dance exist in its own right as an artefact almost alongside those other ancient artefacts. And then finally, the final module is looking at historical dance with a focus on Baroque dance, and we've developed that in association with EDC, the Early Dance Circle, and that's looking at how dance can be notated, and specifically how Baroque dance can be notated, and also again looking at the costume that's used. Baroque dance or historical dance is also often takes place in historical cultural heritage sites. So again, we're continuing to make the link, the connection between dance and heritage sites.